Welcome to Believe, the Conspiracy Theory Podcast. I'm Phil Green.
And I'm David Ferguson.
And we are two comedians presenting a podcast all about the world's craziest conspiracy theories.
We are. Unless they're not conspiracy theories, unless they're the revealed truth.
And I feel like we might be back into Fergie Believes territory with this particular one.
Oh, yes. And quite frankly, if you don't get one over by this, I will be shocked.
Yeah, there's a lot in this one, I've got to say. So this is a podcast all about the world's craziest conspiracy theories. And in each episode, we bring on a comedian guest. And that guest chooses a conspiracy that they want to talk about. It might be a conspiracy theory they believe in. It might be a conspiracy theory they don't believe in. Or it might be a conspiracy theory they think is the most batshit thing they've ever heard. But what we try to do is we try to separate the facts from the fiction. We try to work out whether we can prove it or whether we could debunk it
Or, since we're comedians, get to the truth of it.
Get to the truth of it. But because we're comedians, we don't, because we're not qualified to do any of that. But we give it a bash, don't we?
We do. We give it a bash.
Yes. Now, we have social media channels.
Yes, we do. And we have them on
You can
Instagram.
do this. Yes.
And X.
No, we're not on X.
And we're not on X because we don't like X. We're Instagram, TikTok.
Yes.
What's the third one?
The big one. With the
YouTube.
video. Yes.
YouTube. Yes.
Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's at Believe Conspiracy Pod. And we want to hear from you about the conspiracies that we talk about. Please comment. Let us know what you think of the conspiracy. Give us your opinion. We want to know, don't we?
Yes. Do you have any insight? Do you have any conspiracy theories that you want us to cover? We're open to that. We want to create a community.
We do, absolutely. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we will try and cover that. We will find a comedian who wants to talk about that particular conspiracy and like and subscribe on whatever channel you're watching or listening to this on. That would be very helpful to us. And give us a little rating as well if you like. Yeah. Now, I'm on tour.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I keep saying this every episode. Slowly,
you
the
are
dates are going
still
down.
on tour.
I'm still on tour. It's not. There's not many dates. I've just spaced it out over 3 months. I don't even know if you can technically call that a tour. But anyway, there's a few dates left. I'm going to Brighton, Glasgow, Liverpool, Peterborough, and Poole still. If you go on to the show notes on any of our shows, you'll find the link there. Or you can go on to philgreencomedy.com, and the links are there as well. And I would love it if you came, particularly if you live in Glasgow. Come on, people of Glasgow, you can come. Now we need to give a big shout out to our tech, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Who is the wonderful Phoebe.
Yay!
Now, we shouldn't really shout too loud because Phoebe is very hungover. Because Phoebe's Comedy Club won a massive award, didn't they, last night?
That's brilliant. I just thought you were an alcoholic.
So congratulations to her. We're very pleased for her, but we need to keep it down because her head hurts. You can't see. She's nodding. Now, today's guest is...
It's Danny Walsh.
The wonderful Danny Walsh. Danny is a fabulous stand-up comedian. Yes. He has won many, many gong shows. Actually, sorry, he's beaten the gong on many, many gong shows. Yeah. He's never actually won. That's a fact that he likes to tell people. That's why we're telling you. We're not doing that in any kind of venom. That's simply what he's told us. But he's an expert at gong shows. If you don't know what a gong show is, Google it. It's hell. We hate them, but he is brilliant at them. He's also the founder of the fantastic London comedy night, Happy Laughcraft, and he arguably has the best hair in comedy.
Oh, well, yeah, and that's coming from Phil Green, who arguably has the best hair.
I aspire to be Danny. That he is my goal. And the conspiracy theory that Danny has chosen is...
Denver Airport is an Illuminati hub.
Denver Airport is an Illuminati hub.
Illuminati.
Let's bring him on.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
It's an urban legend.
Like, they're actually spraying something in the sky?
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, Danny Walsh! There he is.
Hello.
That's the contrasting attitude we were looking for.
His hair is so beautiful.
It's beautiful hair, isn't it? And it's just... And
always on the hair.
Yeah, it is always on the hair.
Yeah.
But it's just so great.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, my comedy CV at this point is hair.
Yeah.
And just don't...
But have you seen most comedians' hair? I mean, this is not a pun, but it's head and shoulders above.
I feel like it's a choice, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the hair or the comedy.
The hair, yeah. Or sometimes I feel like comedy hair.
Yeah.
It's like, right, I'll get the haircut and we'll work on everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's mousse as well, which we were discussing it before that because I want to know these things. And it doesn't go with gel. It just goes with the mousse. He's old school.
Gel doesn't... I just don't like that rock hard...
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You need movement.
Yeah.
You want to feel the breeze through it.
I want to be able to.
Yes. Oh, you can't.
For those listening, Danny just flicked his hair, and I'm a bit gayer now.
It was 90s boy band-tastic.
Oh,
So you've what happened? Something happened at work? You've been kicked out of your office?
No, at home.
home?
Yeah, we've had a sewage leak. So little bit by bit, it started with a little smell in the bathroom, but I mean, she lives with me, my wife. She's kind of like,
Yeah,
probably
I hope
him.
so.
Yeah, it's probably just him.
Yeah.
But then there was like a rising sort of fluid mark on the wall.
Yeah.
And then there was water coming down in the boiler cupboard. And it turns out it's sewage the whole time. So we've been moved out. We've been in a hotel, an Airbnb. We're going to move somewhere else on the weekend. So it's been a bit of a
Can't they just
mad...
put you up in one place?
Well, no, they did put us in the hotel at first, but it was just... the first one they put us in was like... the last people who'd been in there had a guide dog. We're both like properly allergic, and I think the hotel was allergic to cleaning the room. So we had a horrible night, woke up like not able to see, all puffed up. So they moved us again, and we were all right for a night, and then there was a storm, and outside of the window was this sort of leather strap that was just going mental in the wind, just smacking against the window.
Yeah.
So then they moved us into an Airbnb, but they're doing it bit by bit because they're kind of like, well, maybe the works will be finished by then, but the builders do not plan to go in until next week. So
at this stage, you're just hobos.
yeah,
Been moved around by
just
water.
living in other people's houses.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Is this Thames Water?
No, it's I can't say the name.
Okay.
So-
Water company.
So we're leaseholders, but the building we live in are owned by, let's say, Fleabody
Okay.
housing.
oh yeah, that's.
Yeah. It tracks, yeah. And they're really at first gatekeeping access to like the insurance part of the company.
Yeah.
So we were trying to put a claim in, but because it's a building issue, our insurance couldn't just do it.
Yeah.
The building people needed to activate it, and then they were gatekeeping. So they'd be like, yeah, okay, cool, and go to put down the phone, and we were like, no. Well, my wife, I say we, it was all her. I was at work.
I don't think you have the anger levels to deal with that. I think you're too like chilled.
I mean, I do, but it's just, do I want to access them for that or discontinued shows on Netflix? That
Yeah.
Oh, don't
Yeah,
talk to me
right,
about discontinued shows on Netflix. I
Yeah.
can't go there.
Yeah.
But save it for that. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you got to distribute your anger. That's the thing about marriage. It's about distributing the anger properly.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
But so we're kind of like legal squatters at the moment.
Yeah.
It's quite. But my youngest son
Yeah.
just thinks we've just bought a new house.
Every
I
week.
love your new house, Dad. I'm like, no, we're not here forever. What? You're gonna have another new house next week? I'm like, okay, you just live in your world because it's much nicer there. Actually.
He's
Yeah.
on an adventure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That tale was a lot more harrowing than I thought it was going to be. If I'm honest with you.
Sorry. I gave you the shortened
You
version.
did, yeah. And I was like, oh, he's just been moved out of work, and then it was, yeah, you're actually homeless. It's
Man, I've done the staying in temporary places and stuff, and it grinds you down.
which hotel do they put you in? You're not allowed to say that either.
I mean, I could. I'm wondering about you guys. Let's just say that a famous comedian was the face of it.
Uh-huh.
And if you phone their customer service,
Yeah.
he's speaking.
How much did they pay him for that?
Yeah. But then it turns out to be automated. And it's like, come
Okay.
on, man.
I was
At
gonna
least
say,
do some of your classic material from the 80s.
Yeah. He's not on TV a lot anymore, so I thought he might actually be
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
But I still remember the first episode of his own show. And he did Michael Jackson Thriller stuff.
I remember that.
And I remember that being talked about for years.
That was amazing.
It was a year.
That was amazing.
It was also my introduction to Tina Turner. He did an impersonation of Tina Turner, like in the third episode. And I'm going, who's that? And that's how I found out about Tina Turner.
This is so cryptic. No one will ever work out who we're talking about.
No.
No.
So conspiracy theories. Now we kind of know you, so we know you well enough to know that you are into these a bit, right?
Yeah. It is waxed and waned a little bit over the years.
Yeah.
There was a point where if given the opportunity and geography, I would have probably been involved in, like, for example, January 6th insurrection sort of level kind
Right,
of.
okay.
I'm involved,
Okay.
but now I just like the interest. It's an interest
Right. Okay.
because there is
Spicy facts.
Yeah. To some degree, it's sort of like it's quite fascinating to see people who are, are all in, and also it's quite interesting. I don't see myself as a stupid person, but for a long time, it was all I could see.
Yeah.
And there's something about that really kind of transfixes me. Like, how does that happen to someone? You don't have to be stupid for it to get.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's a lot.
I actually think it's the reverse. You have to be really clever.
Yeah.
Because you judge people by a higher standard than they actually have. Like, people are stupid.
Well, a lot of people with a lot of conspiracies, you're looking at something and you're reading into it and you're finding a narrative about a conspiracy to make sense, and that that relies on quite a lot of creative thought in some cases. Not all, because obviously it might just be fact, as you say.
It might just be fact.
But you have to be able to come up with conclusions. You have to be able to formulate the story, right? So I can sort of see why that does require quite an intelligent mind. But why do you think that? So you went through a period of really buying into it, and maybe not so much now. Yeah. Do you think where you were in life, or just like?
I think a few different layers. I think at the time was maybe like a personal kind of, I want to say personal revolution of some kind. Ready for, actually things are not quite as they seem. I'm not quite happy as I am. There's got to be something else. There's got to be some reason, but also maybe trying to wish away all my problems. I think I was just coming out of a bad place. And so maybe trying to explain away all those problems. Yeah.
Makes sense. And I think with a lot of conspiracy theorists, when you meet them, and you've met a lot of people who are really into them, that's often where they come from, a place in life like that, which is why we've talked about this on the podcast before. Just dismissing people because they believe in a conspiracy theory isn't necessarily helpful, right?
No. I think, if anything, for the conspiracies, not the conspiracy theories, but the conspiracies kind of rely on the word conspiracy theorist being a buzzword that makes people stop listening to you. And it was kind of coined for that reason. So, it's kind of interesting, because there are actual conspiracies that are proven conspiracies, but the conspiracy theories are just kind of open enough for there to be some room for. I love how much it has, because when I was sort of into it, people were just completely not interested at all. And now some people who used to kind of be like, oh, whatever, Dan, I will see them comment on stuff on Facebook that is very clearly not a conspiracy theory. It's just like a celebrity has an opinion. And I will see their comments like claiming it's a that's because they're into this and they're into that, and I'm like, what happened to you? Because I came out of it and now you've dived straight in.
That's interesting. That's the perspective you had. It's like, what happened to you? What's gone on in your life that's brought you to this point? Are there some that you just think that's just fucking mental?
There are some. I mean, what?
Here's the thing. Do you think you would be friends with like really devout conspiracy theorists, or do you
sitting
think
right here?
I mean, I know. I mean, Fergie aside.
I mean, it depends. Same for anything. It depends on the level. Are they gonna let us just chill? Or is everything gonna be about, like, are we
you
gonna
don't want
have
someone preaching to
are we
you.
gonna have conflict because I say I don't believe X, Y, Z? Do you know what I mean? If we can talk about it and disagree at the end, we could, of course, we can.
A bit like anything, a bit like religion, a bit like politics.
Well, there only is one true religion, but
sorry, the good Catholic boy.
Sorry, there is no God.
Not a good Catholic boy.
But I find that really interesting. We don't have that conversation anymore where we can disagree and still be friends. It's like, well, you're wrong and therefore you're evil. Oh, sorry, I just hit your microphone because you're wrong and you're evil.
And I'm evil,
But I mean,
we forgive him because he's got great hair.
Such good hair. But it's just bizarre to me that we would have that sort of stance, because I want to hear what other people's opinions are, you know. And I mean, one of my dearest friends is a devout Christian. And I find that bizarre, but she also saved my life, so maybe there is something in this God thing. So I find that very, very interesting. I only want to be talking to the people that I know. I like different opinions.
It's the effect of profiles, I think, of public profiles. You know, you can create your page, your life, almost your world.
Yeah.
And everything has become a team, from politics to football to opinion. So people are very not willing to admit they're wrong.
Yeah.
And also, do you think that person saved your life do you think they would have let you die if they were not, if they'd given up on religion? Would you have just been a goner?
No. No.
So they're just a good person.
Yeah.
But they have said to me, you know, I believe that God put me there to save you. I mean, she was the one that phoned the ambulance. I was very, very ill a couple of years ago, and she was the one that phoned the ambulance.
Yeah.
So, like, and I would have been dead. Like, I've got the paperwork. Like, so, I'm a ghost.
So thanks to God.
Thanks to God,
Yeah.
I'm here.
So this conspiracy, this is actually quite a big one. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know loads about this one before we started doing this pod. You did. I know that you've been into this for quite a while. But it is actually quite a big conspiracy theory. It's still a relatively modern one. So Denver Airport is an Illuminati hub. Denver Airport International, the DIA, stands as one of the largest and busiest airports in the world, serving as a vital hub for travellers and commerce. However, beneath its functional exterior lies a web of conspiracy theories, with some asserting that the DIA serves as a clandestine headquarters for the Illuminati, a purported secret society bent on global domination. The conspiracy theories surrounding the DIA began long before its construction was completed in 1995. Critics point to various peculiarities in the airport's design and construction process, such as its significant cost overruns, unusual artwork, and allegedly subterranean structures, as evidence of a deeper, more sinister purpose. The Freemasons, a centuries-old secret society, has controlled the airport ever since it opened, it's alleged, with ties to the New World Order, a group of global elites who wield power over international affairs. The dedication plaque at the airport's south entrance, dated March 19th, 1994, contains a time capsule and bears the symbol of the Freemasons, as well as a reference to the New World Airport Commission. Strange markings have also been noted around the airport, supposedly indicating secret or alien languages. How much do we think the Freemasons are involved with this?
Okay.
Here we go.
I mean, I think it's worth. First of all, the original concept of the Illuminati, if to be believed, was a conspiracy in itself.
It was.
Because it was a conspiracy of enlightenment against the previously mentioned callback church.
Yep.
So artists, scientists, philosophers wanted to try and enlighten the world in secret ways.
Yeah.
And it's funny that concept now is just
merged with the Freemasons, who do exist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freemasons do exist, but again, do they exist in the way? Will we know? I don't know if we'd be allowed to know.
Yeah.
They'd stop us, wouldn't they, from knowing?
Well, it's not so unusual to have a Freemason, you know, marker memorial in airports.
A lot of them do have these.
A lot of them do have that. And if you live in London, we live in London, and like the Freemasonry stuff is everywhere. Like I mean, it is an organization that exists, and you can Google most of the stuff about it. You know, so I don't think it's so out of the concept of reality, like that the Freemasons helped build the Denver International Airport. Like they most probably did. They're probably on the board. Like they're, you know, what is interesting about that memorial is the reference to the time capsule.
Yep.
That's a bit weird.
Yep.
And the dates on it are interesting as well. Not just the dates that the memorial happened, but what it adds up to. Am I jumping ahead too much here?
No, you're fine. I mean, just to give a bit of context about the time capsule. So while the Freemasons are a legitimate, fraternal and historically cloistered organisation, as you mentioned, Danny, with civic ties to the airport's dedication, there is no evidence to suggest that they had a hand in ongoing planning or decision-making at the civilian facility. The time capsule, to be opened in 2094, contains coins, a signed opening day ball from Coors Field, Mayor Wellington Webb's sneakers, and a few Black Hawk casino tokens, among other items. That's a lot of shit in it, isn't there?
Yeah.
The New World Airport Commission was named by Charles Ansbacher, an arts advocate who died in 2010. The name is a reference to Dvorak's New World Symphony, according to a 2007 Westword article, and the commission was created only to orchestrate DIA's opening festivities. The strange markings are Navajo language characters and references to other airport artists. I love that you can be an airport artist.
Yeah.
all the things I wanted to be growing up, and
Yeah.
I could be an airport artist.
Yeah. Not an artist, an airport artist.
I think one thing that I think maybe nobody ever before has noticed is 2094.
Yeah.
If you do a little bit of creative maths, switch things around a little bit, 69. Nobody thought of that yet.
2094. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's in that? Write that down.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down. Yeah. Yeah, I can see how you got into this.
Also, time capsule, opening time capsule
Yeah.
treats and goodies
Yeah.
being revealed.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take this moment. So I've actually brought you both a gift.
Oh.
I'm going to... Which way around would be funnier? I'm going to do yours first.
Okay.
So, Dave, I've brought you Fashionista Ken.
Oh my God.
That is amazing.
Yes. And Phil, because airports and airplanes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I've brought you dry roasted peanuts.
Oh, mate, thank you so much.
I got the better gift. I got the
I'm not
better
sure.
gift.
Slight disparity in the gifts
Hey,
here,
listen.
but I thought there's got to be a bit of comedy, and I didn't think you'd want Skipper Babysitter Club.
No, you're
So-
good there.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
I have no
Yeah, that's
kids.
for
That
you.
would be
That's
wrong.
absolutely for you. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Number
You-
two. I had to Google that it was a Ken because it doesn't say Ken on it, and I thought
no.
there could
I'm
be another
so
character.
glad we upgraded the caliber of guests that we to have on this thing. You said it before. You said we've got to sort this out, and finally.
I've had so we blocked Danny there.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. That's
I
really
would
good.
argue that he has better hair than me as well. So
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know
It's
about
good hair, but I don't know about that.
Good hair. It's not
it's,
great
it's
hair.
quite similar to. It's almost a blend between all of our hair.
Yeah, it's kind of it is. Yeah.
in a way.
He's awesome. I'm so pleased.
It's not part of your collection already.
No, I don't have that.
I have to say, what you produced there is still a lot better than the shit that's in this time capsule.
Yeah. Was
Like-
it just a bunch of coins and
Yeah,
trinkets?
it just seems pointless.
You're welcome.
The
You're
whole thing
welcome.
just seems pointless. Why have they done that? Is that a normal thing for Freemasons to do? Put time capsules? Like
No,
that?
no, the time capsule's unusual.
Yeah.
Normally time capsules are something silly. It's normally school kids.
Yeah,
I'm
school
not
kids would
dismissing
do
school
it.
kids, but it's something like school kids is what life was like.
Yeah.
And for it to get dug up, 100 years later. But it just
When was it buried?
Well, it's
94?
underneath. It should be underneath the.
No, when was it buried?
When the
95 or 94, 95.
When the-
So when they opened the airport, they
I mean, they had better stuff.
yeah,
It could have been like a Game Boy or
Yeah, it could have been a Game
something.
Boy, yeah.
Easily.
well, like a Buzz Lightyear. It was so much better than this shit.
Yeah.
when did Toy Story come out?
95.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it could have been
Buzz
Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
I had a Buzz Lightyear. Anyway, symbolism in the artwork.
I had a Woody.
Yay.
But I sorted it out before I came in. Classic.
That's why he's a comedian. Symbolism
And
in
on
the
a
artwork. One of the most frequently cited pieces of evidence is the artwork scattered throughout the airport, particularly the murals by artist Leo Tanguma. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Tanguma.
Tanguma's right, okay. These murals depict scenes of war, death, and apocalyptic themes, leading some to interpret them as the foreshadowing of catastrophic events orchestrated by the Illuminati. However, others have suggested that the murals are intended to convey messages of peace, harmony, and environmental stewardship. The theory. The airport's 40-piece public art collection, most notably its colourful 28-foot wide murals by Leo Tanguma, its Notre Denver gargoyle sculptures near the east and west side baggage areas, and the Mustang sculpture, which is aka the Big Blue Horse, or Blucifer, which is... And I would recommend you Google this, Blucifer. It's fucking massive.
Also, incredible work on the name, I think.
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah, it's a great name. isn't it?
Blucifer is a great name.
Brilliant name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Near Penna Boulevard are clues to a sinister influence at the airport. Alternately credited as Illuminati, Freemasons, New World Order, or Nazis. Which of those do we think?
I want to... Can we unpack,
They're not collaborating.
Can we
surely.
unpack each of them individually?
Yeah, fine.
Blucifer has a lot.
A lot
Yeah,
going on.
so much going on.
So Blucifer, just to give a bit of context, is as we said, it's a 28 foot, 32 foot high, massive blue horse with red neon glowing eyes.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's Mustang. isn't it?
Mustang,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Mustang.
the
symbol.
Denver.
Well, the Denver
Football club.
Broncos.
Denver
You would
Broncos.
definitely make that association, but everybody else has gone, no, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Obviously. Yeah.
But have you seen this fact?
Yeah.
It is incredibly
Sculpture?
scary. Yeah.
It's
quite
sinister. Though.
Yeah.
You're going into an airport and you see, the black horse from the 4
Yeah.
horsemen of the apocalypse. Like, come on.
But also, it's like quite famous for not being able to fly. Horses. So it's like, if you were going across country on the ground, maybe a horse would be appropriate. But if you're hoping to go in the air, I mean, America loves its eagles. Why couldn't they have just done like a 32-foot eagle with red eyes?
Yeah.
But yeah, Denver Broncos, I thought that's the natural,
I
obvious
agree.
association,
That was the
right?
thinking. But it's so sinister looking.
It is.
It is really freaky. It's really frightening.
It did kill. I mean, we say it did it, but it
It
killed.
did.
It killed the sculptor.
It killed the sculptor, yeah.
Before it was completed,
Yeah.
a piece fell off.
Yes.
And I love that people go, well, obviously that's the work of the devil, and not just was he really that great a sculptor? So
Can't control your own fucking statue.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the red eyes, I think I explained. His father worked in neon signs.
Yeah.
So that is a nod to that.
I did
apparently.
read that.
Yeah.
But that's only a very personal thing to him.
Yeah.
This statue's going up in an airport, which he's been commissioned to do. Why the fuck would you give it red eyes? It's weird.
Yeah.
So
it is
sinister. I
weird.
mean, it looks like Venger should be riding on the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon reference, if you don't know.
They all will. But please do Google it. It's freaky. Like most DIA conspiracy theories, this one roughly parallels the rise of the internet. At the time of the airport's opening and has been given fuel over the years by radio hosts like George Norrie, TV, Conspiracy Backer Ventura, and many others. They point to Nazi or fascist imagery in Tanguma's mural, the ominous and seemingly random nature of the gargoyles, and the fact that a portion of the 32-foot, 9,000-pound Mustang sculpture, which features, as we said, red glowing eyes, interpreted as a reference to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, as Danny said, fell on its killer and its creator, Louis Jimenez. On the 30th of June 2006, Jimenez died in an accident at age 65 in his studio in Hondo, New Mexico, when a large section of the blue Mustang came loose from a hoist and severed an artery in his leg.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Oh my God.
Also,
What does it say on his death certificate? Cause of death?
Bled out.
Oh, okay, not massive blue horse.
Killed him.
Yeah,
Trampled by massive.
I'd want that.
yeah. Put the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Killed by a horse.
Cover it up.
I mean, one of the murals apparently has like a child in a coffin.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it
people
absolutely
are
does.
saying this is about the end of the world and all of this sort of stuff. But I mean, what if it's just a really bad joke? Because it is in a terminal, and you've got this. What if it's
Terminal.
just terminally
Yeah.
ill kid
I mean,
on your way to Terminal 2?
I had
you
not
know?
made that connection. That is very good.
the artwork of those four murals, like again, it's so inappropriate. Not inappropriate because you can't have nasty stuff. I love Frida Kahlo's artwork. You know, I the Goya paintings they're my favorite. Are the ones were his nightmare paintings. But like the murals in Denver Airport are so creepy and so weird. And like you're going on holiday and you see a child in a coffin. I don't think that's okay. I think that's actually really sinister and really unfair. Like a child in a coffin is not a nice thing. It's not nice. And not public art should just be nice, but it's bizarre. And they're trying to say that it's a transition from like war and the worst parts of life into the nicest parts of life, but I don't know that it does that. I actually think it's quite sinister, and it feels oppressive. They're huge murals, like they're massive. And coming from Northern Ireland, I've seen plenty of murals, and,
Mostly on walls.
Mostly on walls. You can get a wee taxi journey around Belfast to see them all now, and I fairly recommend it.
Yeah.
You get to see some of the worst art you've ever seen in your life that is now being listed. Anyway,
It means something.
It means something, but it's oppressive.
Yeah.
And it's. I'm not saying it's ugly. I actually think it's quite good, but it's no Diego Riviera.
I think the staff have said if you look at it in a certain order, it's meant to be quite hopeful.
Yeah.
But I mean, what if I've got a plane ticket. I've got one. I can only see this one.
You don't get as far as that
I
at
think
the end.
people have also tried to make the leap of coffin, COVID. They knew back then, and it's like again, people will make the leap to prove where they already are. It's like they have the belief, and they look for rather than look for evidence that proves whatever is true.
Yeah.
People will look to prove what they believe. And
Yeah.
that's quite I mean, we see it all the time, and we see this is political, but it's not on any kind of side. But we see that politicians all across the board are starting to use that.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
lack of an objective
absolutely.
truth
Yeah.
almost for their benefit.
Well, when you run out of political ideas, that's what you do, isn't it? You find those to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The meaning of Tanguma's murals is frequently divorced from the context of their creation, which tells a hopeful story of peace and environmental stewardship following times of war and pollution. Conspiracy theorists focus only on the grim imagery, but not the rainbow-laden resolution. Read from right to left in the mural, as you were saying, Danny. Children of the world dream of peace. The red eyes in the Mustang sculpture are a homage to the artist's father, who worked on neon signs, as you also said, and the gargoyles. They have historically been used as decorative yet functional downspouts, and in general as long-time symbols of protection to ward off evil spirits. Why would they need to do that?
Well, yes, but also so gargoyles are on the outside of a building. A gargoyle
Usually.
Yes.
True.
True.
It's also it has water.
A water spout.
It's a water spout. That's what a gargoyle is.
Yeah.
Because are they grotesque?
A grotesque.
Yeah.
Grotesque if they don't have the water spout, and they point out of the building, but they're pointing into the building.
Yeah.
So what are they like? That's
I've read that it is to protect baggage, and I was like, well,
okay.
I had a bag go missing when I
cheaper
went to
than
court once.
employing
And
someone.
in fairness, there were no gargoyles in the airport, so maybe...
proves the point.
Yeah, proves the point,
Proves
doesn't
the
it?
point.
Yeah.
Also, just employ someone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you could spend thousands once and have gargoyles,
Yeah.
or employ someone, feed families. I think the only conspiracy that we've proven today is that corporations love to save money. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This statue cost a lot of money. This fucking big blue horse thing.
Once,
Yeah, once. It's a
you
one-off.
know,
Yeah.
it's like buying at Limemark.
Yeah.
You keep having to buy.
Yeah.
But if you go to somewhere nicer,
Yeah.
you buy once and it lasts a long time.
What's,
you know?
what's it saying? Buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Buy three times because I'm.
yeah.
There is
Buy
another airport.
gargoyles, save on stuff.
Yeah. There is another airport not far from Denver Airport, but that big blue horse would mean that if you were driving there at night, you would definitely know whether you were at the right airport, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's the thinking behind it.
We just see two blinking eyes.
It's so freaky.
It's such a-
Because until you're
it's-
close up, you can't see the rest of the horse. You could just see the red lights.
Yeah.
You know what? You know why wasn't the remit? And I've got something to say about the murals again. Sorry,
No.
why wasn't the remit for the horse? Like a horse is a beautiful thing, but that looks like the horse that at the German officer during the Crimean War.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's a horse that eats meat. You know, and it's creepy. It's a creepy looking horse.
It reminds me of Ganondorf's horse
Yeah,
from
right,
The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
Just this
Yeah.
huge steed that was just had a big scary man on the back.
Yeah, it's
Or woman.
women are scary.
Sorry, I don't know
It's
why I
true.
did that
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
No, the horse was scary. You guys took the point and don't clip that bit.
That's the bit I'm going to put up.
No, it's me that was misogynist.
Jesse Ventura we mentioned very briefly.
Yes.
And I love his journey in a way because he has been a wrestler. He was a wrestler at one point. He was also a governor at another
Yeah,
point.
he was. Yeah.
A conspiracy advocate, let's say. I've got a quote here. I had a few, but I chose one. He says, if I could be reincarnated as a fabric, I would come back as a 36 double D bra.
Wow.
Which I think just proves 38 double D bra.
38?
Sorry, it was
Okay,
the glare.
right, yeah.
Dream
It
big.
just proves that, you know, the man's got a good mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think his own.
Yeah.
It's his own bra.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well, yeah.
I mean, it's an inspiration, clearly.
Yeah.
Do you think so? That's somebody who's used to fame, right? And I think this with some celebrities is that it's quite an impressive journey when you think about it, being a pro wrestler and being in a political position, having a lot of exposure. When you start to fade a little bit, I often think people look for a way of staying back in the limelight, really, because if you've been used to it for that long, especially someone like that, when you lose it, it's kind of hard to deal with. So I do often wonder do people spout conspiracy theories to make headlines, to bring themselves back into the spotlight, or do they really believe it? Has he just gone crazy?
Well, a member of Boyzone recently put out a conspiracy about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And I saw comments underneath saying, "Oh, you're just angry that Boyzone is not together anymore." And I think
we're quite angry about that.
But something that I found
They
out
were the
was
key to my
that
life.
Yeah.
he was part of a supergroup merger called Boys on the Block.
Oh yeah, wasn't that just two of them?
Is that Boyzone and New Kids on the Block
Oh,
merger?
wow.
Is that
that's
what
not
that
I'm
is?
thinking of then. I was thinking it was a mashup of Boyzone and Westlife, but
Because there was a mashup of Boyzone and Westlife.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
I can't recall what that was
But
called.
Boys on the Block, Boys Block, or something like that.
Boys in the Block was the New Kids in the Block, and
I
members of
think-
New Kids in the Block. And
I mean, boys
boys
that's my-
stretch at their age, isn't it? Sure.
that's my A to Z
Yeah.
jump. They should have just called it Block Zone. No lies to anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's maybe it is that sometimes when you're used to a level of attention, you're used to maybe screaming fans, and then suddenly that's gone. New people take your place.
Yeah.
It's not like nobody's taken your place. You watch Harry Styles rise. You're in your room. No concerts to do.
Yeah.
Have a go at Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Because of course she is. Again, this is a Satanist
I
conspiracy.
mean, we've got our suspicions about Taylor Swift. We mentioned them a few times on this podcast.
she's. Oh, I don't want to go into that.
She's going to need an episode just to herself.
I think so, yeah.
So underground tunnels. Another commonly cited piece of evidence is the alleged network of underground tunnels beneath the airport, purportedly used for clandestine activities by the Illuminati. Hidden beneath the airport's underground baggage transport tunnels is a secret bunker, it's alleged, or series of bunkers designed to house billionaires and the global political elite in the event of an apocalypse. Lizard people, aka reptoids, and or evidence of aliens are also thought to be lurking down there. Contractors who originally worked on the airport, which went over budget and opened 16 months behind schedule, reportedly saw evidence of bunker entrances and unexplained tunnels. A multi-million-dollar automated baggage system failed to work as designed, fueling doubts about the intent and scale of the construction. An alien drawing has appeared on the walls, and blurry footage of lizard people has appeared on conspiracy websites. This is quite interesting because they built this baggage system. It was supposed to be this big, expensive, state-of-the-art baggage system. It never really worked properly, so they binned it off, brought in a new system. But these tunnels and that process still exists.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched one video where they were like referencing all the conspiracies and trying to, but actually it's this, like proving them all wrong.
Yeah.
And they went, you can actually visit the tunnels. Look, here I am, and it's a baggage system.
Yeah.
But again, the conspiracy mind will just say, well, obviously that's not the ones. There's a layer underneath.
Yeah.
There's a layer underneath.
Yeah.
And there's always another layer to it.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that it went over budget, the fact that it was not done on time, to me, that just sounds like it was done by British builders. It doesn't sound like a conspiracy to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Sounds like shoddy workmanship.
Yeah.
Also,
fair.
the world's elite, this is supposed to be, the world's elite are planning to live here post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why Denver?
Yeah. Yeah.
They've
I
got the
have an
whole
answer for
world.
that.
Go on.
Okay.
Why Denver? Well,
Yeah.
that's where Dynasty was set.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's my only introduction to Denver is Dynasty in the 80s.
Okay. They're just big Dynasty fans.
Who wasn't? I
mean,
When I
it's
was
tenuous, but it's as good as any other explanation because we don't have an explanation as to why they'd go to Denver.
I do have a more legitimate answer.
Okay.
Apparently the rock was easy to burrow through, so it was still really strong. You still had the benefits of being in a rock enclosure, but it was you were able to do it fairly quickly.
Okay.
And
Not quick enough, according to this time it took them to build it.
like they kept adding things into it, and
There is a suspicion,
bunkers and-
like bunkers, exactly. There is a suspicion because, as we said, it went 16 months over budget. It was supposed to be delivered about 93, I think. That the fact that they went so far over budget, the reason that there is a Freemasons plaque thing in there, and the gargoyles, and the other thing is that the Freemasons did fund it because they ran out of money, and that's where that extra money came from, and that's why those things are there. So there is some suspicion that's the connection.
Well, I mean, like there are like if you're a celebrity and you go through Heathrow, you go through a completely different airport than the hoi polloi go through. So the
one we go through.
The one we go through. Well, no, I go through the celebrity.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Danny just goes through because he's got great hair. They're like, he's probably in. He's probably in Boyzone, Boys to Men, Boyzone Men,
Block boys block.
Men's Zone.
Men's Zone.
That's a whole different thing.
Wasn't that a clothes store? Men's Zone?
No, that was it was in Earl's Court. It was called
I think of a
Clone
shoe
Zone.
Clone
Zone.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's
a whole different thing.
That's a whole different thing.
Men's Zone would be right up your street.
Oh yes, so much fun. But Bend Over Denver. No, no. I don't know what I'm thinking. So there are like other
Kept
ways.
it so highbrow to this point.
This has been a really disgusting episode.
Yeah.
There are other entrances. There's service tunnels. There's service access for members of staff. Blah 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 blah. So like the idea that there's whole networks and cities down there. Like I used to work for Harrods. You've heard of Harrods? Okay, so that building is quite beautiful, but it you would not believe how much there is backstage and in the basements. Like it goes on. There's storage and it's got its own water supply. Like so that's just a shop in Knightsbridge. So. I can imagine with the Denver International Airport, they built all the extra stuff because they also have to be forward thinking. What are we going to need in the future? And one of the things they're going to need is like FEMA camps in the future, and
because it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bizarre where it's at.
That was another point when they were proposing the airport. People were starting to theorize about certain things because of the location. They were like, "Oh, well, it must be." You're full of secrets because it's being built in the middle of nowhere, as opposed to like bang in the middle of town, like normal airports.
Can we just clear 1,000 square miles in the middle of Denver, please? That'd be great.
Yeah. Couldn't you just have it next to the Morrisons, please? No, you can't. You can have a Morrisons in the airport. Can I just say about secret celebrity entrances? This is
not a euphemism.
No, it's not. Is that just to get to a certain point?
Well, I know in Heathrow because I've tried to see Kylie, I've tried to see Madonna, I've tried to see Diana Ross, and it's just so that they don't have to deal with the crowd and having to deal with things, and they get ushered through. Like the royal family, well, the Queen, she's dead now, but like the Queen never had to do anything like that. But they have to make it all easy for people, and especially if you've got money. Like if you've got money, you can't be expected to rub shoulders.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no.
No.
Well, it's just that when I was like 14, we were going to Florida, and we were in one of the restaurants in Heathrow. Just sat there, all the family, very like early in the morning, and two huge guys turned up at the entrance, called over like the waiter, and immediately he ran and like cleared an area, and in walked Britney Spears. It was incredible, and I was 14 and absolutely in love with her at that point. And I did nothing, but my 3-year-old sister ran up to her, through the arms and legs of the bouncers, gave her a hug, and she sent her a signed photo in the post, took our address, sent her a signed photo in the post, and
that is a beautiful story.
And that is why I hate my sister. Amongst other reasons, but yeah, no, I don't. Shout out to Holly.
Yeah, that's nice. He actually did get as far as seeing Kylie, but she was so tiny that he couldn't quite.
She's just tiny and perfect.
Yeah.
It's like she's far away.
She's a little angel. She's a little green fairy.
She's a little green fairy.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
The facts. Roughly 1,000 people work daily in the various levels underneath the airport, ferrying luggage among ticket counters, planes and baggage claim areas in a pair of 7,000-foot-long tunnels that run alongside the airport's underground trains, which were not immediately ready to use upon the airport's opening. As seen during a tour of the tunnels provided to the Denver Post, all plumbing and electrical infrastructure appears to end at the underground area's lowest level, hiding anything else under it, it would be an engineering feat on par with the channel that connects England to France. Furthermore, over the years, little personal touches have been made, like the hand-drawn alien image, as well as decidedly non-alien themed graffiti like smiley faces. The automated baggage system was actually used in various capacities, mostly by United Airlines up until 2010. There's a certain mystique to anything you can't see. The 470,000 square feet of underground space would take 3 days to show people everything down there. Finally, airport workers have been known to don lizard masks as pranks while the media are on tours, including one caught on camera by Fox 31 in a video that has since been circulated, often uncredited, as evidence of their existence. I do like that about them.
Yeah. They have leaned in.
They have. Yeah.
They've got some signs where it says, apologies for the noise. It takes really big drills to get to the underworld.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite...
It's great.
Yeah. But again, some people just be like, see?
Yeah.
They're telling us.
Yeah.
If they're hiding in plain sight, they're mocking us.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's really good that they get human beings to dress up as lizards so that you don't notice the actual lizard.
The real lizards.
That's
exactly
exactly
that's the
right.
thing. The airport is actually also twinned with Roswell Airport. Which is incredible.
Is that true? Is it really?
Yeah,
I didn't read that. Okay.
It's like NASA twinning with the Texas Book Depository. It's like conspiracy is just becoming best friends. I love it.
Yeah. Runway layout. So, critics of the conspiracy theory often point to the layout of the DIA's runways, which some claim resemble a swastika when viewed from above.
I don't think it's a claim. I think it resembles a swastika. Like it.
Well, okay. So I watched a video on this, and it's not finished, right? The actual the runways are not finished. This was the original design. They've finished that part of it. When all of the others come in, it won't look like that. It's just the current layout. But it's not like you have to draw the lines on it. And I admit that it is quite blocky and very similar to that design.
I mean, they could be like, oh, forget what they did with it.
Yeah.
We're going for the original meaning. You know, it's kind of, it used to be a peace symbol.
Right. Yeah,
Symbol of the sun.
yeah.
But also maybe it's like an offshoot of the actual Illuminati. Maybe it's the Illuminatis. We don't know.
I'm sure that's a thing.
Yeah.
Thing.
I mean, this is the thing. When did it all become conflated? Illuminati and fascism, Nazis and secret underground Nazis are the Illuminati, but also it's Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's like, where did it all...
I mean, I think these things accumulate over the years, right? So someone tells a story, then it gets built upon and built upon and built upon. It's a bit like writing comedy. Do you know what I mean? It's like it builds over the years. And like you said, with the people that are really into it, they buy into the one story, and then anything they hear or any kind of like little nugget of evidence or suggestion, they use that and then convince themselves of that. And then the story just becomes bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I mean, lead up to 2016... they all got brought into one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you plan to do it one day, but they all got brought into one theory to boost certain people's political careers.
They did.
And I think that's where the conflation started to happen.
Yeah, agreed. Although it's quite convenient, actually, the grouping of them into that. It's consolidating.
Well, sort of, but mega conspiracy theories. I mean, the granddaddy of that is David Icke. He said everything's related and whatever, and that's part of the reason why he became so important in conspiracy theories and alternative thought and history. I quite like David Icke. Children of the Matrix is still one of my favorite books, although it's nonsense. But that's what started me on the path.
Yeah,
looking at all that, and you start fitting everything in together, and it just becomes this big conspiracy. I'm going to go a bit left field here. There's an episode of Star Trek Voyager. Called The Voyager Conspiracy, and 7 of 9, one of my favorite characters ever, she starts piecing together all this information to come up with a conspiracy of why she's in the crew, and it's very, very paranoid, and basically she's just stretching all these little tidbits that mean nothing. She's making them mean something, and that's really what conspiracy theories are. But that said, when we come back to the Denver airport and those feckin' murals, we were talking about them earlier, and we're saying it goes from to something terrible into something beautiful, world peace. I think the most sinister of all the murals is the pretty one with the rainbow and the kids all living in harmony. They're all drugged out drones. It looks like a horrible future to me.
Yeah, but have you seen the other one? The other one's got like a Grim Reaper with a machete and like leering over a kid. It's pretty graphic.
Yeah, that's and it's and it is that is horrible. But once that's all happened, everybody's just a drone, and I think that's horrific. You got. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Although I do live on my knees, but let's not talk about that.
You got to say, I mean, it's a lot more exciting than Heathrow as an airport, really. For all of these many weird things about it, like it's going to be an interesting airport to fly. Like, airports are pretty dull.
Oh yeah.
You get there, you go to Boots. There's a Ted Baker. You see if there's anything on sale. If there isn't, you get on your plane.
That's it. Whereas you go to Denver and you have an existential crisis about who really runs the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I quite frankly, I want to go to Denver Airport.
Yeah.
Just
to have that experience. Yeah.
I've only ever seen it on books and in documentaries.
Would you want to have that experience on the way out or the way back from holiday?
I think fly somewhere else and then drive to Denver.
Okay.
I don't know. I quite like
so that you can see the horse. Or would you want to see the horse?
Yeah, but would you want
Lucifer
for the experience of flying to or from Denver Airport, if you were going on holiday, would you want it to be at the start or at the end?
That's true. Fly to Denver, drive to another airport to fly home.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, once you've been, you'll never be the same again.
You wouldn't be the same again, no. Once those eyes have hit you. Okay, so the DIA's location, approximately 25 miles from downtown Denver, swastika-shaped runway configuration, and various barely concealed...
ship?
Swastika.
I love you.
I do struggle with some words. Shaped runway configuration and various barely concealed symbols of Nazism or fascism hint at any number of sinister plots, theorists say. Also, a tunnel is said to connect DIA to NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, nearly 100 miles to the south near Colorado Springs.
I wonder if that's not true, and I have a reason for it.
I mean, going back to the theory that said before, it would take like 10 years, and it would be like 10 times the size of the channel.
Yeah, but by now, that could be built.
Yeah.
That could
by
be
now
done
it could
by
be.
now. Yeah,
Oh,
but it's now that they say it's impossible. It's like, but you're not saying this in the 90s. You're saying this now.
Do you think that
more than 10 years has passed since you started building this airport? So
do you think that the noise of the planes drowns out the drilling?
Yes.
and the human sacrifice.
Yeah.
What's that? It's just an engine. Don't worry about it.
Sounds like a child screaming.
You know that
It's
Eddie
the mural.
That Eddie Izzard bit where cats don't purr, they drill. It's one of my favourites. Yeah.
Oh, Eddie Izzard, we love you.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it because I would butcher it. Nazi conspiracy theories have been among the most popular online for the last few decades, and despite its recent tongue-in-cheek embrace of most conspiracies, the DIA officials have shielded from directly addressing them, which some see as a sign of their validity, as you said earlier, Danny. We do have some subject matter that we wanted to either just avoid or tread very lightly with, said the DIA's Kaufman in response to a question about what made the cut for an exhibit in the main terminal. Some things are worth debunking and others aren't. I do like the fact they do lean into it a bit. I mean, regardless of whether it is or isn't true, it's quite fun.
Yeah.
They do that. And I'm not sure that a lot of airports would do that.
Yeah, because they're very boring.
Yeah.
I mean, Stansted once pretended to be jealous of me.
What?
For going to Nice Airport.
I mean, you're going to need to elaborate on that.
So I tweeted Stansted Airport.
Yeah.
I'd flown from Stansted, and we'd had this sort of back and forth.
Yeah.
Obviously not the airport itself, but I like to imagine it that way. It's more beautiful than just a PR person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can't wait. I'll be there in a couple of days. They were like, can't wait to see you. And it was like this back and forth for a couple of days. And then I was there and I was like, where are you? I'm in you, but I can't see you, and all this sort of stuff.
I love that.
And then had a few days in France, and then ready to fly home. I was like, at Stansted Airport, I'm at Nice Airport. Are you okay with that? And it was like, I'm going to pretend I'm not crying or something like that. It was just like a little joke from the airport.
And it just went.
We haven't spoken since.
No.
I go to Heathrow now. And
but the important thing is you had that moment with Stansted.
I had a moment with an airport.
Yeah.
And it's part of my life. It's
So if you can't get to Denver Airport for banter, Stansted's your place.
yeah,
Stansted's your
yeah,
place. Stansted's the airport I use the most.
yeah.
It is.
I like Stansted.
Yeah.
It's quick.
It's also where I don't know if anyone actually knows this about Stansted Airport, but they do house alien figures and vampires. So it's got its own stuff to it. Yeah,
I did not know about
I just made that up on the spot.
Yeah, see, but that's
I
the
took
thing.
that
the
totally
line-
legitimately.
But this is how
Did
it
you?
starts.
You were like, is there?
Oh my God, there's vampires at Stansted?
This is where it starts.
It just starts.
A close look at aerial photography of the supposedly swastika-shaped runways reveals a lumpy, misshapen, and largely interpretive swastika at best. The rotating fan-shaped design allows for optimal takeoff into and against the wind from different directions. That's why it's shaped like that, depending on weather and traffic patterns. Additionally, a 90-mile long tunnel from the DIA's remote location to NORAD seems highly unlikely and cost-prohibitive, given that the world's longest underground rail tunnel, the newly opened Swiss Alps traversing Gotthard Base Tunnel, is less than half that length, 35.4 miles, and took more than a decade to excavate and construct. But you still think they've done this?
I'm just saying
It's possible.
it's been
I mean, it is
more than
possible.
10 years is all I'm saying. If
Yeah.
they're saying, oh, if they'd said, oh, that would have taken 1,000 years, then fine. Your statement makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Well,
10,
why? But why? They've opened it to take 20 years to drill into NORAD.
NORAD.
Why? Like,
Why not?
what? Yeah, and why not?
but it's like someone saying about, say, my eldest, he's 13.
Yeah.
He's about maybe just under 5 foot now.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said, oh, that's impossible, he'd need to be 5 foot. But he is. He's almost 5 foot. He wasn't once, but he is now.
Yeah.
Things
So
change.
things
with the
change,
passage of
yeah.
time.
Yeah, but
Even if it was just one person, look at Shawshank Redemption. Maybe behind one of those murals,
Yeah.
somebody has just been scratching away a little bit of stone, putting it in their
With a
pocket,
lizard mask.
walking up going, thank you, enjoy your flight today. Just chucking the stone and the dust that way.
We're going to have to say spoilers for Shawshank Redemption.
do we
Oh,
think?
yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think everyone knows the end by now. Do we think that the airport staff are in on this?
Well, yes. Otherwise, their families will get wiped out.
Oh, really?
It's true,
Okay.
true,
Yeah.
true.
It's amazing how persuasive death and corruption can be.
Are they the ones digging?
No, because they don't have the technical expertise. It's the lizard men with their
I
hyper
think-
technology.
I
course
think
it is.
the staff, something quite crucial. I think this sort of tips the balance on believable and not believable.
This tips
It's
the
to
balance.
do with the staff. Yeah. So staff feedback is, I think, it's a 2-to-1 ratio, positive
Yeah.
to negative. And for airport staff to have that kind of level of not job satisfaction, but being praised for their job to that level,
Yeah.
well, they definitely have something to do with that, because that's impossible.
Was that
Not-
Denver Airport?
That's
Denver Airport specific?
Denver airport staff, general comments about airport staff are positive by a 2-to-1 ratio.
That's pretty
Is that good or bad?
Well,
I'm saying it would be good if it were possible, but by general standards, impossible, because have you met, except for Stansted, have you met airport staff? They're kind of,
Oh, they're well, I don't want to say
Yeah.
that the worst, because I do have to use airports, but
yeah.
depends on
one
the
of the
airport.
worst experiences I ever had in my life was going through security at an airport, and the member of staff was so patronizing to me, and I'd never experienced someone being patronizing to me before, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't. And they were horrible. They were horrible to everybody, and I thought, if I complain, you're going to stop me getting on my flight, but you should be in prison, you horrible person. It was horrible.
Prison seems the right
Oh yeah,
course of action. Yeah.
Oh, look! There's people that walk slowly in front of me. I think
Oh,
should be
that-
dead.
yeah, that's
so
the
like
difference.
just to give you a context, I love humanity, just not in front of me.
I mean, it must be quite a stressful job, though. Especially
fuck
at
'em.
certain parts of the airport, like near security
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Where we met Britney, that same holiday, I got to America, and I made two mistakes near and around security. So the first one was I made a joke about having a bomb in my shoe, and this was 2002. The second mistake was once I walked through. Yeah, but once I walked through and it beeped, I used to carry money in my shoes. Living in London,
Yeah, you get mugged.
I got mugged a fair amount, so I used to keep my money in my shoes.
Yeah.
And I had all this change from Heathrow and bought sweets and stuff like that. So I'd put it all in my shoes. I didn't care how uncomfortable it was, but now I have problems, so don't put money in your shoes. But I was like,
If you take anything from this episode,
yeah.
Don't put money.
don't put money in your shoes.
Yeah, because the lizards, that's what they want you to do so that you can't walk or run away when they're coming for you. But I went to take my shoes off, and this lady grabbed her like side holster here, went, "Don't touch your shoes, young man." And I was like, "What? There's coins in there. There's coins in there." So "Do not take your shoes off." I was like, "All right, I won't." And then once I had my hands up like this, she went, "Okay, remove your shoes." So I had to like kick my shoes off, and all my money went everywhere. She was like, "It's just coins," and then like let go of her gun, and I was like, she was gonna shoot me if I just gone, "No, seriously, it's okay with my shoes," and just carried on taking my shoes off. But I had also maybe 2 minutes before
they were watching you.
Every time you go to an airport, something exciting happens. I don't know whether I want to go with you or not. Like, on the one hand, you might meet Britney. On the other hand, you might nearly get shot.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the risk. That's the lottery.
Like, if you go to Denver Airport, you're going to meet the Nazis, the
Yeah.
lizards,
Yeah.
and President Obama because he's time traveling.
I think they installed a talking gargoyle in Denver.
did.
Yeah, they did.
It was a bit of banter.
Yeah.
It was a joke thing for an exhibition they were doing, but it was a talking gargoyle that said things like, "Watch out for the tunnels," or it was part of the joke that they were embracing the conspiracy.
They're making such a joke of it. That just tells me it absolutely
must be.
exists.
Yeah.
But they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, right? Because if they just ignore it, people will go, "Well, they're not talking about it, so
Yeah.
it must be real." And if they lean into it, they're like, "See."
It's confirmation bias, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the fact that they're embracing it.
I do.
Fuck, why
I
not?
really want to go. Like, I've wanted to go to Denver Airport for a long time.
Yeah.
Denver International Airport for a long time.
I mean,
But
could you imagine if the Texas Book Depository had like little in jokes, like, "Oh, do you think you could have got him from here?" and stuff like that?
I bet they do. I'd
Yeah.
love it if they
Well,
did.
it's a museum, the Denver, or not Denver International Airport, but the Book Depository.
Yeah, it's a museum.
Now you can
Yeah.
see where Lee Harvey Oswald was framed. I mean,
We're talking about JFK, where JFK was allegedly assassinated from, just in case anyone doesn't know.
he was assassinated. He just wasn't.
Yeah, whether it was there
assassinated
from there. Yeah. Okay.
But it's like I was watching. Do you remember Quantum Leap from the
Yeah.
80s? Right. So I was watching that again.
Oh, that's a great episode.
the Lee Harvey
Yeah.
Oswald, and you're like, well, yeah, I didn't get to see of the president. He says, yeah, but Jackie would have died, and he saves Jackie. We all know how much I love Jackie. Yeah.
Doesn't he leap just before? Was it just before the shot or not?
No, what's happened when he leaps into Lee Harvey Oswald? It's a bad leap. He keeps coming in and out of him. He's not in Lee Harvey Oswald for the whole time. Quantum Leap's such a good series.
Quantum
It's
Leap was
series.
such a good
Not
series.
the remake. The remake is awful. But
There's a few that touch on that very thing, and one of my favorites is Red Dwarf.
oh, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a Red Dwarf episode where they actually they accidentally save JFK, and then when they jump forward, it's become like a nuclear wasteland. Like, what the hell happened? It turns out, like, in their theory, like, Hoover was being like undermined by the Russians, and then they just bombed him and all this sort of stuff. So then they jump. They basically free JFK, who's also been arrested for crimes, and then they bring him back to shoot himself from the grassy knoll. It's incredible.
It's such a Red Dwarf thing to do.
Yeah,
It was great.
yeah.
Yeah. Red Dwarf, massively underrated sitcom.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think Lister. I think that episode, all he's trying to find is a curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. But by the end of it, he still doesn't get it.
No,
A good curry.
So, debunking the conspiracy. A lack of concrete evidence. Despite decades of speculation and investigation, conspiracy theorists have failed to produce any concrete evidence linking DIA to the Illuminati or any other clandestine organization. The absence of veritable evidence undermines the credibility of the conspiracy theory. Occam's razor. The principle of Occam's razor suggests that the simplest explanation is often the most likely. In the case of DIA, the simplest explanation is that it is a modern airport built to serve the needs of travelers and commerce rather than a secret covert base for a society. Psychological factors. The allure of conspiracy theories often lies in their ability to provide simple explanations for complex phenomena, as well as a sense of empowerment through knowledge of supposed hidden truths. However, critical thinking and skepticism are essential tools for distinguishing between fact and fiction.
Okay. They're not going to tell you that, right? Also, do you know President Obama visited Denver?
Yeah, he
Have
did.
you got notes on that?
Yeah, no, I haven't got that.
So President Obama visited Denver Airport. Fair enough. President flying around. These things happen. Except it was when Comet Elenin was overhead.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that was meant to be this could be a near extinction level event. So how convenient that the one airport that Obama ended up going to was Denver Airport that just might have a DUMB underneath.
Yeah.
But did he stay there?
He,
Or did he move on?
stayed there for a long while. Like it was reported on that he was there for the president should have been there that while, and I think he was there in case Comet Elenin turned out to be a lot worse.
Well, I think we can only prove that if like other important people were there. Were Jay-Z and Beyonce there too?
Probably, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. We'll get them on. Find out. So the airport, as you said before, doesn't discourage the speculation. So the CEO, Kim Day, who really embraces the conspiracy ideas, said that we decided rather than fight all of this, we might try and convince everybody there's nothing going on. Let's have some fun with it. In 2016 marked a turning point in the airport's marketing savvy. For the first time, DIA is featuring a modest museum-style exhibition of the most notable theories in honor of October as Conspiracy Month. Events have included a conspiracy-themed costume party, free Close Encounters of the Third Kind screening, chosen because the coordinates for the alien landing in the 1977 film supposedly point to the DIA's location. In reality, it's an empty field 51 miles northwest of the airport. Most of the theories are so laughable and easily disprove that DIA is happy to weaponize them as marketing tools. That, in turn, translates to estimated hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in free publicity, which is true, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, though, you wouldn't necessarily build the airport right where the coordinates are because you wouldn't want your airport to get messed up. You just want to
Yeah.
land over there and we're here. We'll come see you.
Yeah, I think that's
We'll
probably
transport you
wise.
over. Also, the tunnels, there's probably like a hatch at that point.
Yeah, they can pop in.
So
Imagine if the aliens land, they're like, fuck, we missed it.
yeah, because you don't want to mess up commerce.
No.
You know what I mean? So
That's not their intent anyway.
no.
Well, the
No.
reason they missed it is because that big scary fucking horse. I'm not landing
Yeah,
near that.
yeah.
Look for the
What
red
if it
eyes.
moves?
Yeah. So upgrade in the last few years. If you've travelled through Denver Airport recently, you may have noticed some peculiar construction signs. Instead of the pardon our dust messaging, the airport openly flaunts its conspiracy theories, playfully referencing Illuminati headquarters, Liz People's lairs, and the underground tunnels that some believe are reserved for the world's elite in the event of apocalypse. So like you said, Danny, one side reads, apologies for the noise. It takes really big drills to get to the underworld. Another quips, forgive the mess. Building secret underground tunnels can get quite untidy. I mean, it's quite on the nose, some of these, but they are quite funny. While the public response to the signs has been mostly positive, some of the staunchest skeptics remain convinced that Denver Airport is up to something sinister and simply hiding its conspiracy theories in plain sight. But is the Denver Airport and its vendors onto something when it comes to promoting conspiracy theories? Definitely, says a senior publicity at Society 22, a self-described conspiracy theory fanatic. Using conspiracy theories in marketing is a bold move, and Denver Airport does it in a way that's hard to ignore, she said. They've taken stories which should have been a PR headache and turned them into something that grabs attention. The messaging is clever because it gets people curious and engaged, which is true, doesn't it?
It doesn't work for every conspiracy, though.
No, that definitely doesn't work for every conspiracy.
Pizzagate could not have done. Oh, fancy a kid on your pizza. Do you know what I mean? They couldn't have done that one.
We can't
Yeah.
talk about
Can't.
pizza. It gets you pulled. From
Even a
YouTube.
mention.
There's loads of things we can't talk about, like Pizzagate, but we can't any of that stuff.
Yeah. It can be a tricky balance to strike, she says, especially since airports, planes and travel can already be stressful, and some people take conspiracy theories far more seriously than others, as we have established. Keeping it lighthearted is key to making sure the strategy adds to the travel experience without taking away from the comfort and security airports are meant to provide. I mean, all true. It does sound like a fun place to go.
I have to be honest. I'm like, I really want to go, like now.
Yeah.
I'd like if airports didn't use numbers. I feel like if they use foods instead, like head to the pizza gate.
Oh my God. So, conclusion. While conspiracy theories surrounding Denver International Airport as an Illuminati hub may persist, a rational analysis reveals them to be unfounded and based on speculation rather than concrete evidence. By examining the origins of the conspiracy theory, analysing its claims, and applying principles of critical thinking, it becomes clear that the DIA is simply what it appears to be, a bustling airport serving millions of travellers each year. As such, it is important to approach such theories with scepticism and a commitment to evidence-based reasoning rather than succumbing to the allure of sensationalism and paranoia. So, do you think, Danny Walsh, that Denver Airport is a hub for the Illuminati?
Did someone tell you that? I mean, I know that airports have personalities from personal experience.
From your Stansted days.
But in that experience, they've mostly been benevolent.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Quite friendly,
humans
actually.
that they hold within
Yeah.
but feel otherwise. But the airports themselves seem to be quite nice.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, in some of the best movies and shows, the bad person
Yeah.
is often seen as good to the outside world.
Yeah. This is the longest answer I've ever had to one of these questions.
The jury's out for me.
Okay.
Jury's out for me
Interesting.
because I feel like it could all just be to cover up their mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, bad workmanship. It comes down to the murals. I think the murals are really sinister.
The murals is what closes it for you.
Yeah, and because I can take the argument that the runways, you know, they just happen to look like that. It's the best design for them. And there's other things coming up, but those murals are really sinister, and the horse is really sinister. Like, you know, who looked at that and went, "Oh, it's a beautiful horse." Like, it's not. Like, I mean, it's meant to be the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
I dare say that was the idea behind it, but like, you know, like, it looks evil. Like, it just does. It just does.
So you are bought into this.
I am. Yeah, I think it's a deep underground military base.
Okay. All right. I'm going to revert to
Have they
type.
won the Super Bowl since that's been built?
I actually
Because
don't know, but we will find that out.
Yeah, because if not, then we know we've got our answer, haven't
Yeah?
we? Yeah.
That's fair. So I'm going to say if they have, then it is, and if they haven't, it isn't. But I do think that
I
you're
think
both
that's the logic.
fucking nuts. Danny, would you like to look at this camera and tell people where they can find you, where they can follow you, all that sort of stuff?
Usually around Walthamstow, helping.
That's where we found him.
helping the needy. But no, at Danny Walsh comedian. There's not much on there, but every now and again,
He comes up with a gem.
yeah,
Yeah. Follow Danny.
you can follow me there.
Absolutely. And like we said, best hair in comedy.
That's her. It's beautiful.
It's just beautiful. So, would you like an Illuminati joke to end the podcast?
Go for it.
Of course you would. Did you know the Illuminati are going to buy pizza for every single person on the planet? It's going to be a new world order. Because it's an pizza. That's the end of the podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Bye!
Please like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. The more lovely subscribers we get, the more episodes we'll make. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok for regular updates and exclusive videos at Believe Conspiracy Pod. We love you. Bye!